Hi, my name is Attorney Walter Rudolph Hnot III. I'm with Disability Resolution PA. Here's the question. The top 10 things some big box law firms do to mislead disability claimants. Number 5, everyone is happy at this firm and turnover is low. Everyone is happy at this firm and turnover is low. Okay, so nobody is really super happy about practicing law in a long-term sense, because we get our own version of what's called PTSD, because we live through all of these different claimants and all of their different problems, and they sit on our shoulders until we fix them, if they even can be fixed. So you need to understand that there's no such thing as, you know, a big box law firm with tons and tons of happy attorneys. That's just not how it works. Another thing is that law is not usually anymore high pay to most employees. Right? And the reason why is that law doesn't really pay nearly as much as it used to. So the thing is, we have employees that have very high levels of stress sitting on their shoulders because they have a giant caseload. And these employees at the same time have to deal with judges and attorneys. And, you know, judges and attorneys are not always nice to other people. Let's just be honest with her. It just is what it is, because they're sitting with their own stress on their shoulders. And then on top of all of that, basically, you have, you know, things that have to be done, massive timelines, schedule, go. It's not done. It had to be done 3 days ago. Why aren't we done? It's a high stress environment. Nobody's sitting there going, oh my goodness, I had so much fun at the law firm today. I just sat there and ate all the ice cream I could. I was so happy. Okay? Working at a law firm is not like working at a Harley motorcycle plant. Okay, where, you know, and let's call it like it is. That could be rough too, because you're putting a thing on, you're doing a thing, yada yada. But you're there for a reason. You like making motorcycles. That's your gig. You enjoy it. It's fun for you, right? That's why you have that gig, most likely. Law firms, it's all about justice and money. If anybody tells you, I just really like to help people, that's true. A lot of attorneys do. I'm one of them. But we're also here for money. We are. It doesn't pay as well as it used to, but it's still more money than doing something else. Okay. All right, so let's go to the next thing. Turnover is low. Only small law firms have low turnover. And the reason why is that those small law firms are like little ecosystems that are able to control themselves. Big ecosystems, they're like big city ecosystems, constant turnover. People see a better opportunity, they flip-flop out, they go do their own thing, yada, yada. Small little firms, they do what they need to do to make people happy and keep it rolling forward. It's just a different environment. Big firms, high turnover. Always high turnover. You could have an entire floor's worth of people get fired one day because there's just a switch in the market, and there's just a, you know, the market no longer has the funds to sustain them all. Where, as you know, a smaller law firm can adapt and change much more easily. And think of it this way. If you have a 20-foot boat, okay, or let's put it this way. If you have a canoe, right? Let's make it stupidly simple. If you have a canoe, it's easier to steer a canoe one way or the other way than it is, for example, a freight liner, you know, some giant, massive, you know, boat. So just kind of think about that. And if you've never really thought about it, think about it this way. It's like trying to convince the people that work in a cupcake shop or a armory shop or a, you know, like little stores, you know, little whatevers. Hey, we want to change this parameter. What do you guys think? What should we do? Yada, yada, yada. Versus, you know, going to Home Depot and saying, okay, we want to change this parameter. What do we do? Because, you know, you got to change all those different stores. You got to change all the different, you know, you got to work with people and test it out. See, you know, it's a very different, you cannot get the humanistic tendency of a big box firm to go ahead and have the same easy change as the humanistic tendency of getting a small box firm to go ahead and do it. Small box firms are custom work. Big box firms are McDonald's. Ketchup, lettuce, tomato. Next. All right. My name is Attorney Walter Rudolph Hnot III. I'm with Disability Resolution PA in Orlando, Orange County, social security disability law firm. If you have any questions for me, that's fine. Shoot me an email, give me a call, and we'll go from there. Also, remember, if this video did help you out, please leave me 5 stars. And every Thursday night, I go live from 8 to 10. And as you guys know, and probably see now, I usually tell you guys the rough truth about how this stuff actually works, which is not something traditionally shared by most attorneys. In fact, the bars, like the Florida bar, the Georgia bar, and things like that, knowing from the Georgia attorneys that I, you know, interact with, I've seen more stuff, being, I don't want to say hidden, but I've seen a lot of stuff just not come out that should have come out. But the bottom line is, they have their system and it is what it is. So, my big thing with the Florida bar is that they're always restricting attorneys from doing things instead of empowering them to do things. For most of the stuff that I interact with and see, and then I pick up the newspaper and I read what they're telling people about what they want to do and what they're going to do and yada yada yada, and it's they create clubs that are restrictive, they are racial, and it's becoming more and more problematic. And the sad thing too is that the bar should be all about equality, and they're seeking equality through inequality, which is not how you achieve equality. It's just not. It's never been that way. But that's how they do stuff. So, it is what it is. Another thing that I think we could improve, and here's the other thing too. I've been doing law a while now, and if we don't talk about these things, then these groups, the Florida bar, big box firms, small box firms, then they're getting censored, right? If we don't talk about these things, then we're actually doing harm to other people. It's kind of like words, like, you can't say that word, you can't mention Voldemort. That's essentially what happens in the industry sometimes, a version of censorship, which then creates this inequality, which then creates this fear, which then creates riots and creates basically destruction. What you need to know is this. If we could more openly talk about the problems that are existing in a particular field or industry or whatever, then we would end up with a better system. We tend not to do that, which is why we have sort of this inequality system where people are unhappy and it's not moving forward and it's not doing great, yada yada. But that's another thing too, is that like they'll have these committees, and these committees won't even be open to the public. We created a committee, and the committee is da 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 da, and the committee will give direction and da da da, and then we'll create a written report that will be submitted to the person who ultimately makes the decision. Well, wait a minute. Why can't people be part of that committee? There's a problem here with committees. All across America, leadership is dying. We are slowly breeding it out. But the problem with committees is that you have people without leadership skills trying to come up with leadership and then present it to somebody who can actually lead them. That doesn't sound like an efficient way to do it. The way you do it is, now that we live in the digital age, you get the general public and you get the people inside and you get the people at the top to all discuss it. There are going to be unpopular things that one of those groups has to present as their agenda. And guess what? That agenda will come through, it'll be weighed as evidence, and then a decision will be made. And then they'll go forward, and the leaders will do what they want to do. We don't do that in America. We have a secret subcommittee. Oh, well, we're starting to do that more in politics, where we can actually see what's going on in these subcommittees. But in corporations, we have secret subcommittees talk about figuring out a way to make a decision, which is really just them planning to go ahead and figure out how to get you to vote what they want in, right? Because they give you two options. One of them's crap, and one of them is absolutely horrific. And so you choose the one that's crap, which is what they want to do anyways. And then they present that identity to the executive leadership. The executive leadership takes that and says, that's what our group provided us with, ergo we must go with it. And then they go ahead and do it. But, the average person is not going to go ahead and know all that. That's what's going on. All right. My name is Attorney Walter Rudolph Hnot with Disability Resolution PA. That was number 5 of the top 10 things that big box firms do to potentially mislead people. If you have any questions or you want the most updated information, that's fine. Shoot me an email or give me a call, and we will go from there. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.